Greetings and good evening, fellow YouTubers. We are live on the King Cobra JFS channel. Streamlabbing it up. We're going to do a nice little night video stream for the fans. It's the weekend. Good evening and good morrow. Yo. We got a juicy gender relations rant coming your way. And leaving it at that. I don't know about you, YouTube, but I am sick and tired of women being treated like sex objects. It's perfectly okay to have a type of woman that you're into, but don't overly sexualize it. What's up, Robbie and Punk Rock? Yes, sirree. Thank you, Punk Rock, for plugging the Streamlabs. I appreciate it. I got some beer. It's the weekend, and I got some things to say. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. But to better explain it, fellas, how do you feel when women just use you for your money? Doesn't that shit just piss you the fuck off? You hear men constantly complaining about gold diggers and how women only want money. Fuck that stereotype, because it's pretty much the same argument for us men, right? Because all us men want is sex, apparently. Fuck that. And the stereotype that exists for men is all you men want is sex. You don't care about emotions. There's so much into that, you know, and the thing of it is, men are not allowed to show their emotions. Plus, they crave it just as much as any female would in the adult range, of course. I know it's automatically implied, but I don't give a shit. There's just some people out there who really need to have their ass kicked more than my trolls do. I'll just leave it at that. But, I'll tell you what. The way society treats sex in general puts way too much pressure on adults. It's not healthy for our society. Now, it's perfectly healthy for adults to experience a healthy appetite for adult companionship. However, when it borders on the weird, disgusting, creepy, or obsessive, etc., it's not good for the individuals involved in that shite. Yeah. Now, here's what happens, okay, and this is something you've heard many, many women bitch about. Women have often said that men are all the same. Women who say that have never had the chance to meet a decent guy. Every guy they've encountered has turned out to be a total prick, and it sucks. Because men go through the same shit when they're dating women. And it creates this tension on the dating scene. Welcome to the stream. Do appreciate y'all tuning in. Rocking some gender relation rant for you this fine evening. Sipping on some Coors Lights. If you don't like the beer I drink, I don't give a fuck. You know, people treat sex like it's a need instead of a want. It's disgusting. And of course, we're being told by everyone that a happy wife equals a happy life. If you make an effort to make her happy and she's still not happy, that's kind of on her as well. Because only you can make yourself happy. Now, treating women like sex objects not only has negative consequences for women, but it also has negative consequences for men. It makes us all look like assholes. And when women are accustomed to that sort of treatment, they start believing it. And this is where relationships can get toxic, ladies and gentlemen. When you're dating a bad dating partner and their bullshit infects your mind and you start believing the bullshit they're cultivating you into believing. Yeah, they didn't even read that. Actually, they're not for that, but thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. I see what you're trying to do there. I have talk to text on, but the algorithm's starting to catch up a bit. My trolls will use whatever means necessary to rip on me, and you know what? I can sleep better at night knowing that I'm a decent person and these scumfucks suck. But that's the thing of it. The trolls are just like the dating scene. It doesn't have to suck, but they choose to, you know? I mean, we're all bitching about how everyone's single and how dating sucks, but when you treat each other like shit, can you blame anyone for wanting to date in the first place? Huh? That's the thing of it though, like, even if you have, like, say you have, like, four people who all have a dating partner, but then the other four next to them are single. If two of those people that are single have a hard time finding companionship, just like the other two, but the other four in general that are single have negative experiences, it has a way of infiltrating and influencing the way the people who aren't single date. Even when you're taken. Now, here's the thing that sucks about couples who date and who are friends with other couples and they double date because, you know, that's fun. Haha. Okay. Women will do it so they can have a gal pal to hang out with. That's just how it is. But women are so goddamn catty towards each other, and on top of it, if the woman and the man are having a fight, their bullshit has a way of influencing the couples they're friends with. And you all know how that argument goes down. Here's the thing of it though, my advice to you, and without being sexist about it, if you and your other half are fighting, do not drag other adults into your problems unless you feel like you need marriage counseling. That's the only time you do it, because 9 times out of 10, that just makes shite worse. And do you know how fucking uncomfortable you make your friends feel when they're friends with the both of yous and you both are fighting about some stupid shite? It's fucking ridiculous, man. Picture for 1 second if you and your other half were friends with another couple and the other couple was fighting about some stupid shite and they were forcing you to pick sides. And as you're laying awake in bed at night, you and your girlfriend are having a fucking conversation about someone else's fucking fights. And now they got you two fighting about it. It's fucking asinine. Bloody fucking hell, man. Ridiculous. Every couple knows exactly what I'm talking about. And at some point you have to ask yourself, okay, that's their fight. Why the fuck are we fighting about it? So here's the thing of it, and this is just a general rule of thumb. If you're gonna be friends with other couples, because that's just it. That's how adults socialize and mingle as part of the human social interaction. And it just makes more natural sense. It's less awkward for the people around you. Like, if everyone in the group, minus one person, has a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a husband, whatever the fuck, wife, you know, significant other half. It doesn't matter if the person's male or female, or if they're straight, gay, lesbian, whatever. It's always going to be super awkward for the one person who doesn't have someone. Everyone else in the group has someone to be with, but the one person in the group doesn't. So of course they're the odd man out. And when they go to get included in certain activities, it's just awkward. And especially if you're trying to get that person to hook up with someone, you're at a bar, like you're having a couple's night at the bar, and so you're like, hey, to boost your friend's confidence, you're like, hey, you see a chick you like at the bar, but you don't want to talk to her, so your friends are talking to her for you, kind of thing. And I'm like, first of all, you're putting way too much pressure on it, man. You gotta relax. If that chick's interested in you, she will walk over and talk to you. This age-old cliche that men have to make the first move. What the fuck is that shit? And then as soon as we do make the first move, women get super creeped out by it. They say we're way too aggressive and you're just being rapey and... This is the headache of society. When people say one thing but do the exact opposite, they have one expectation, but they want the exact opposites. This is the thing of it. Most humans don't know what they want. But you certainly wouldn't expect women to have these sexist expectations, but somehow it's now perfectly okay for women to have sexist expectations of men. And if we complain about it, we have women's history shoved in our faces. And fellas, it's a bitch, but let me tell you something, dudes. you're not the ones that had to fight for gender equality. So, it's awesome that you think that women deserve more rights and that it's unfair that they had to fight for equality. However, that's not enough to tame the female beast inside. Lilith unleashed in Pandora's box, if you will. Women have had to face years of sexism and oppression, so they're going to be a little pissed about it. And if men want to bitch because of other minor insignificant double standards, well then wham. And even then, most women in general should be smart enough to go, hey, you know what? We've had to fight for equality for years, so it'd be completely hypocritical to be sexist towards men. It kind of take away the whole argument that feminism is preaching, which is gender equality on the basis of women being discriminated against. So if you're trying to fight discrimination against women, discriminating against men is really going to make it worse. And that's the problem with feminism as a whole, is that's the only time people focus on it. You know, the idea of feminism being some radical woman with her hair dyed multiple colors, screaming the patriarchy and all this other shite. That's the kind of fucking crap that people focus on, man. Fucking ridiculous, man. I'm just saying. You literally have no frame of reference. That I do, asshole. Thank you for the $5 donation. Look at the way society operates. Examine the networking of how social interaction happens with humans. It is the truth, and if you refuse to believe it, you want to be a blue-pilled sheep the rest of your life, go right ahead. Like I said in a previous video, women are so catty towards each other. It's a competition of who has more stuff, who's got a better man, and who's prettier than who. And for men, well, it's not too far off from being similar, only the only difference is it's who's tougher than who can outdumb the other person, who's got nicer stuff, who's got a hotter babe for a girlfriend. So pretty much it's the same fucking competition, just, you know, done a little bit differently for each side, depending, of course, on certain things. And people are gonna laugh at this shit like, who the fuck is this guy drinking a beer and talking about gender relations? The fuck is this shit? I'm on the weird part of YouTube again. I'm serious. If women and men start focusing on what makes them similar instead of what makes them different, and that life is not a competition, we're all trying to make the best of it, what do you think's gonna happen? Women stop giving a shit about who's prettier than who, and they just do what makes them feel pretty and support each other. And men stop giving a shit about the fucking beer they drink and say, you know what? It's a brotherhood of man, to quote Imagine by John Lennon. Well, if I talk like that, of course, people call me a wannabe hippie and all this other shite, and it's like, you know what, fuck them. Because I swear I put the talk to text on. But they're still doing it anyway, so who gives a shite? Just to make sure that it's turned on, because at the end of the fucking day, you're gonna donate $5 to talk some shit just so you can hear a computerized voice reading off and giggle like an immature asshole. Like, oh hey, this is fun. Speaking of, they're using people I've mentioned on YouTube. That's so typical, dude. Oh, it's off. Well, my bad. Didn't quite catch the end of that message there. People often think that I have no right to give dating advice because I've been single for 3 years. But if someone's been in a relationship for 3 years, how are they more credible if they say the same exact thing? Just because they're in a relationship or because they have more experience? To some degree, yes. But also, your perspective can change when your environment and surroundings change. That's the credibility that most people don't seem to fucking realize, man. Nah. Shout out to my Scottish Viking ancestors, you fucking crazy assholes. Because essentially, when you're in a dating scene and you found a girl or someone to be with, I didn't read it out. Thank you, Eric and Drew, for tuning in. I appreciate it. But you're essentially seeing the dating scene through rose tinted glasses when you're in a relationship that's somewhat manageable and you're with someone that makes you happy. You're going to be more focused on that. You're not going to be focused on the entire dating scene. When you're single, however, and you're looking for a girlfriend, you start looking at the bigger picture. And that's where I get my advice. Like, you hear women and men pretty much bitching about the same shit. And fellas, if you want to smell good for the ladies, coupon code King Cobra will get you 15% off your next order of tactical soap when you order it directly from the Grondike Soap Company website. Yeah, buddy. Now, women can seduce men without even trying. It's ridiculous, that kind of power that women have over men. They wield it and take advantage of it. Women honestly hate the fact that the female form has been overly sexualized in our society, but when it gives you benefits, you won't bitch or complain. But when it fucking bites you in the ass, you're like, ah. And to be fair, fellas, you do the same shit. When men use their privilege to get ahead in life, they're like, yeah, fuck it. But then when it bites them in the ass, they're just like, well, this ain't fair. They're quick to bitch about how the other side is just as fucking deplorable. I turned talk to text on and it's just not doing it, man. The song Walking what? I made the talk to text as big as I could and turned it on. And honestly, if I were to cast a spell between ending my dry spell and ending the COVID, I would cast a spell to end the pandemic before I'd cast a spell to do the other thing, kind of thing, yeah. All these trolls want to talk some shite. Fuck them. Fuck them, man. Fuck my trolls. They're losers. You know? If I had a choice between ending the pandemic with my magic and using my gender relation rants to make dating easier for the fellow adults out there, I'd rather do that. That's more important to me than getting laid, to be quite honest. And when it's actually making somewhat of a difference. Oh, walking home by ceremony. Oh, I can do a reaction to it, yes, but I don't want to be singing it because it's 2 o'clock in the bloody morning. It is the weekend though, so I'm like, eh. When women are used for sex and men are used for money, it creates tension amongst both genders. However, these are just stereotypes. Women have been known to use men for sex, and men have been known to use women for money. These problems exist amongst both genders, and it's a sad, sad, deplorable, deplorable truth. Now, here's the thing of it, and this is where it really bites you in the arse. If women don't trust men because a lot of them are being assholes, and half of it is because men are assholes, some of them, I should say, and the other half is because men who try to be nice guys get treated like shit, which turns them into assholes. All of a sudden, the problem just fuels and feeds itself, doesn't it? When women and men have been treated like shit, and the ones that are pieces of shit continue to be pieces of shit, it will inadvertently eventually affect the people who are nice and decent in one way, shape, form, or another. But and people are so quick to give me crap about my dry spell, but I'm like, there are more important things out there right now that have more issue at the moment. And, you know, the question you have to ask yourself is, and I'm being serious, if you were a cigarette smoker, hypothetically speaking, do you want one drag of a cigarette or do you want to finish the whole thing? Relationships are no different. Alright? You rush out to get a relationship as quickly as you can because you're afraid to be alone. That's like taking one drag of a cigarette. That's just like taking one drag of a cigarette. But taking time to wait patiently, that's like saying, you know what? You want to finish the whole goddamn thing. Thank you for the $5 donation. Are you willing to meet female fans? Of course. I like talking to my fans. But, ain't nothing gonna happen unless my female fans are in their early 20s, you dig? At least. I'll drink to that. But really, women nagging and bitching and complaining about men. And men do the same shit, you know what I'm saying? You want to bitch about women nagging about men, but if men bitching about women nagging about men, the hypocrisy knows no bound. Men want to bitch about women being shallow, women want to bitch about men being shallow. Ugh. One drag will get you what you want, but the whole cigarette will satisfy you. And that's a metaphor, of course, but you dig what I'm saying. That being said, toxic relationships can be cancerous. If you're in a bad relationship, the person's a douchebag, they don't do anything to provide for your relationship other than someone to cuddle with at night, 9 times out of 10, it's not worth the headache. But people are either accustomed to being treated a certain way or they rush out to find companionship. And when you're accustomed to being treated like a piece of shit, or you're afraid to be alone, or the combination of the two, it can cause you to meet some really shitty people in the dating scene. On top of that, people want to make money. I totally get that, but you know, there are some crazy ways to make money, and sometimes it's not your best option. You know. Well, think about it. Like, if you work for the military and it's your job, thank you to our vets, I'll drink to that, to protect your platoon. Defending freedom is not always, you know what I'm saying, an easy task. And the problem with women being treated like sex objects, like I said, is they start believing that's all they're good for, that's all they're good at. When, you know what I'm saying, that's bullshit. Women are full of a lot more potential than they realize. You know, case in point, ladies, if you bitch about sexism, no matter how unjust it may be, whether it's justified or not, it gets changed. If men bitch about sexism, we get told, shut up. So ladies, you gotta rock that shite, because that's just female privilege right there. You know, that's just it. Like, learn from your victimization. As genders, learn from their victimization and don't abuse their privilege, and learn to work together so that we're not contributing to the stereotypes, because that is the key factor here, YouTube, is not contributing to that shite. Get to watch King Cobra drink some beer and rant and rave on YouTube. That's always fun. Now, I'm not going to go too far with proving my next point, but the negative influences in our society that impact adults have a way of impacting other people of a certain age. And honestly, my trolls can piss off. Oh yeah, only pee on stream unless I absolutely have to, because honestly, it's not healthy to hold it. I won't poop on stream because that shit's gross. Ooh-wee. That beer goes right through us. Yes. Thank you for that donation and that message. I quite agree. That's exactly my point. That Netflix show was beyond disgusting. You know, if you want to expose certain issues in our society, there's a way to do it. You know, could you imagine literally, like, people are all like, smoking's bad for you. So they'd be like saying, hey, we want you to smoke cigarettes to prove that cigarettes are bad for you. Oh, wait. Ridiculous, dude. Lay down vocal tracks for another song that I'm working on with the Phil from Cannabis Corpse. And I got 5 more to do tomorrow. A little weekend fun. People are gonna talk shit no matter what you do, so fuck them. You know, life just ain't worth stressing. It really isn't. And there are gonna be times more stressful than others. That's the point of it, man. Is you're gonna think to yourself, "Oh, this time is stressful," but then you rise above it, work through it, and then the next stressful time will be even more stressful. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Thank you, Punk Rock, for plugging the stream. I appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna chug the rest of this here beer and wrap this shit up. Because, you know, it is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. People will do what they can to mess with you. Life will do what it can to mess with you. You got people in life messing with you. can do is reflect upon the crazy shite going on in our society. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck to make of it. Because it's ridiculous. Do you appreciate the moderators plugging that stream lamp, buddy? Yeah, man. I'll have to review that song when it's on the next stream. I could review it right now. I just need the name of it. And I'll review it on the headphones before I close out the stream. Yeah. If I don't get it on this stream, I'll get it on the next one. But honestly, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll definitely have to get that a review in the next stream if I don't see what it's called on this one. The main focus of this one was just the rant I went on. Yeah, that shit's not gonna work because they watch my live streams and they're like, Cobra's just doing his thing, man. Who cares? Anyways, YouTube, thank you, Sarah, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching my gender relations rants. If you want to improve gender relations, helping the genders relate to each other